Hello everyone, welcome to another tutorial. Today I wanted to scratch a little bit of another subject that is connected to Windows updates. So in a previous video we have configured our Windows update services. I have changed a little bit my setup, so maybe I will first start by showing what I have actually done. So I have now two different servers. On the first server I have the domain controller and DNS. On my second server I have a DHCP configured, of course the web, right? So IIS, and of course Windows updates, Windows server update services. Okay, so what else? Let's go to the main controller and let's check what I have here. So maybe let's start with the Active Directory. So in Active Directory I have like a domain controller, of course. This is my main domain controller. I got DDR admins, so administrator groups. I have one user that is connected to workstation Bill Paxton, and I have a DDR workstation working on Windows 10, which is headed here. And of course I have one server that is hosting DHCP and Windows Update services. So this is how it looks. If it goes to GPOs, these are my group policy objects. And for now I have a DisableDualScan, which is very important if you want to run Windows updates, because thanks to that you are saying to all of your computers in the domain that they should pull all of the updates from your Windows update services and not from Microsoft. So if you want to actually do this GPO, you can do it by going to computer configuration, preferences, Windows settings, registry. Here let's check properties. Action is create H key local machine, so local machine. This is the path. It's software policies, Microsoft, Windows, and Windows Update. And then it should be also in Windows Update, so it should be like local machine, system. Okay, let's software policies, Microsoft, Windows, and then we have Windows Update, so it should be the end, Windows Update, and it's here, right? So this is the policy. It's called DisableDualScan. It's a reg word, and the value is set to 1, and it's hexadecimal. Okay, so this is the main GPO for disabling, and this is another one, Wsus, Windows Update. Let's check policies, administrative templates, Windows components, Windows Update. Okay, so this is the main one that is actually taking care of most of the things. So I got here configured automatic update enabled, Internet Microsoft update services location enabled. Here you also have your, of course, your address, which is of course HTTP with the 8530. This is the HTTP port. We're gonna configure HTTPS today for Windows updates. So we're gonna go back here later on. I got turn off auto restart for updates during active hours. I got this as well enabled, and I set the active hours, and I have turn off auto restart notifications for update installations, which is enabled as well. And we're gonna go back to this policy because it's not fully configured. I'm gonna configure that later on as well to add some other options. Alright, so this is my setup. Of course, I got my Windows 10 machine here, a workstation that is added to the domain. Now let's check. We don't have anything here in computers. Okay, I'm gonna close it down. Let's go to our server that hosts Windows Update services. Let's go to Windows Update services. I have already done all the synchronization and stuff, so because in a previous video I didn't show options regarding Windows Update services, so any of those options I haven't been telling anything about them, so let's go through them. So we left off at without synchronization, which I have done. So if you want to synchronize all of your updates, well, maybe first let's go to the options tab. As you can see, you got many options here to choose from. We got update, source and proxy server. If you go here, we can choose from where we want to actually set our Windows updates to be getting the updates from. So either you want to synchronize with Microsoft Update, and you're gonna pull all the updates from their servers, or if you have another Windows Update server somewhere in your domain, you can always synchronize it. Then you just put the name of the other server here, of course the port, which is HTTP here. If you get HTTPS, it's 8531. Then just apply OK, and all the updates are gonna be pulled down from the other server. Of course, we are choosing this option right now because I don't have another server anywhere. So, products and classification. This is very important. I was talking about it previously when we were actually installing Windows updates. So you need to check what kind of updates are required for your environment, and you need to pick them. I've picked only the smallest amount required. So I'm not gonna go through it again. Update files and languages, we can go here. So there you go. We have here store update files locally on your server. So if you have this option ticked, of course all of the updates after you actually set them to be downloaded, they are going to be downloaded to your local Wsus catalog, right? So this is my Wsus catalog. It now has only like few kilobytes, but if I started downloading updates, it would grow quite fast. So you can always, if you wish, you can choose the option do not store updates files locally. Computers install updates from Microsoft Update. So basically what you do when you see that a workstation needs an update or few updates, you just approve all of them, and they are going to be downloaded directly from Microsoft Updates, which I'm going to choose right now. Just because I have a small space here, so it's a very small disk. If you have, of course, a bigger disk and a lots of space, you can choose the other option. So all the updates are going to be downloaded to your computer and then distributed to all of the workstations in your domain. Synchronized schedule. Of course, you can synchronize manually. You can synchronize automatically. First synchronization, you can set when it's going to be done. And the synchronizations per day, of course, how many synchronizations do you want? Of course, this option requires good internet access and a lot of good internet speed if you want to set more than one synchronization per day. Automatic approvals. So automatic approvals, like it says, if you actually take this, it's gonna be all of your required updates are gonna be automatically approved. So this is on default. I didn't change anything here. I don't recommend this, of course. Computers, what do we have here? We got, you can specify how to assign computers to groups. Use the update service console or use the group policy or registry settings on computers. So of course this is the default option. I'll leave it as that. Server cleanup wizard, and well, this is quite obvious. If you want to clean up your Windows update services, if you are downloading a lot of updates on your on the server, you need to clean it up from time to time. You need to clean up all the stuff regarding like bad updates. If some kind of workstation had a faulty update and it needed to be actually scratched, or you needed to just withdraw the update, you can do all the maintenance and cleaning choosing those options. Of course, they are not 100% great, so they are not gonna clean everything. You probably need to use some PowerShell scripts as well to clean up the server, which maybe I'm gonna talk about later on, maybe in a different video, because that's just another topic for another time. Okay, what do we have here? Reporting rollup, of course. This is just a while. Rollup status from replica downstream server. You can choose to have replica downstream server, rollup computer, and update status to this server. Okay, so you can, of course, make a rollup of an update thanks to those options. Email notifications. Well, if you want email notifications to be sent regarding some stuff happening, you can always configure this option. Straightforward stuff, Microsoft Update Improvement Program. If you want to take part in this program, you can always tick yes here. Personalization, of course. You can personalize the way information for the server is displayed. Of course, I'm gonna use this option, which is the default option, and the last is the configuration wizard, which you have the first time when you are actually installing Windows Update services. This is the first thing that greets you. Of course, if you go through all of this, then it just goes through all of the options from here. So it's the same thing, just packed in one place, right? So as you can see, you can then start connecting. There's going to be first synchronization and connection made. Then you're going to choose language for your options. You're going to choose products, which I was showing here as well. Here, products and classification. Then, of course, the classification, configure schedules, synchronization schedule if you want to set one, and of course the finish. So this is like a packed option for all of these options, right? Okay, so what do I have here in my computers? I have actually, so all of the computers are gonna fall in all computers basically, and they're gonna fall in unassigned computers. So if some computers are gonna jump into your Wsus, they are gonna first appear here, and then I have created another group So you can of course create a group here, add computer group, you can just name it. I have named it DDR, and I have moved from unassigned computers to my group DDR by two servers, so one server and another server. Of course, how do you move them? Well, it's pretty easy. You can change membership if you have different places here where you can put them, store them. Then you just tick it and you choose the OK option, and your workstation or server jumps into another category. So pretty straightforward. As you can see, this one has reported already one update is needed. So my DHCP server and Wsus, so the main server needs one update, and the DDR serve, my domain controller have been added, but it didn't report any status, so not yet reported. And of course I have my workstation that wasn't yet added to Wsus, so it didn't appear here, which we are gonna configure as well, and we're gonna go through it. Okay, so I think that's it. If it goes to like introduction, how everything looks, and I think we can actually start with configuration. So let's go to my domain controller. So I have, of course, my document that I've prepared previously. We installed the report viewer and everything else that was there. So now we are gonna go to HTTPS. So how to configure HTTPS for Windows updates. So this is a note from Microsoft. So Windows Updates services uses SSL for metadata only, not for update files. This is the same way that Microsoft Update distributes updates. Microsoft reduces the risk of sending update files over an unencrypted channel by signing each update. In addition, a hash is computed and sent together with the metadata for each update. When an update is downloaded, Wsus checks the digital signature and hash. If the update has been changed, it is not installed. Thus, ports 8531 and 8530 must be open for communication for SSL and Wsus to work properly. Steps demonstrating how to configure SSL on the server running the Windows Server update services. So here we're gonna have all the steps, so we're gonna follow them and we're gonna configure HTTPS. Okay, so first of all we need to open IIS. So let's go to our DHCP server. I'm gonna open my IIS. Gonna switch it like this. Okay, so first what we will need to do, we need to go to the server and server certificates, because we are gonna create a self-signed certificate. So this is my main server, of course, and here we have like certificates. So server certificates, we're gonna go here. Okay, sorry. Okay, so next thing, we're gonna create a self-signed certificate. So we're gonna create self-signed certificate. So let's go and create one. Some kind of friendly name. I'm gonna just call it Wsus, so I know it's to my Windows Update services web hosting, and there we go. Okay, next step, we're gonna go to Wsus administration. So let's go to sites, Wsus administration. Under actions column, we're gonna click bindings. So I'm gonna go to bindings, and we're gonna create HTTPS port. Okay, so let's go to bindings, and as you can see, I got here HTTPS port 8531, right? And HTTP is 8530. Okay, so we can edit this, of course. And what we're gonna choose, we're gonna select the self-signed certificate, of course. Gonna choose this one. We can view it. You have a private key that responds to this corresponds to this certificate. That's fine. Okay. Let's see what they suggest next. So okay, so I'm gonna go back here. Host name, IP address. So we're gonna change this, of course, to our IP address. It corresponds to this IP address of this server, and I'm gonna choose OK. We got it set. We can, of course, change this as well. Let's change to the IP address. Okay, so this option has been set. Okay, let's check what's next. Of course, you can add a host name. So actually, you will need this main host name that you can check in the certificate. Okay, so they suggest it's required, so let's do it. Let's add it, view the certificate. So this is my main name. Unfortunately, cannot copy this, so I'm just gonna write it here. So it's DHCP DDR local. So this is how it should look. And I think we can also change it here as well. DHCP. Okay, so we got everything set. Close it down. Okay, what's next? What's the next step? So now we will need to, under Wsus administration, we need to go to certain services, to SSL settings, and we will need to set certain things with SSL settings. So we're gonna mark require SSL and then apply, and we're gonna do it. I have actually changed it a little bit, so we're gonna do it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those services. And like it said, we're gonna choose enable the required SSL option. I'm gonna choose ignore and then apply. Okay, so first one, API remoting. So we're gonna go to API remoting. We're gonna go to SSL settings, require SSL, ignore, apply. Next one. Client web service. Okay, client web service. Require, ignore, apply again. Okay, DSS Authority Web Service. Ignore and apply again. Server since web service. Ignore and apply again. And simple authorization web service. So this one and apply. Okay, so we have done all of this. Okay, after that, it is said that we need to start a command prompt, change the directory to this one, so I'm gonna just copy it from here. Okay, let's start a command prompt. We can actually close this. Let's open a command prompt as an administrator. I'm gonna change the directory. And what do we have here? We're gonna run this command. And we need to also choose the full name here. Okay, so in my case, of course, it's gonna be DR. Okay, so this is the full name. So the name of the service, Windows Update server, and of course my domain DDR log. Okay, so now we have set our HTTPS on port 8531. It says it has been configured. Let's see what's next. So next we'll need to run MMC in the administrator mode. So let's run MMC. Oops, sorry. I'm gonna run it as administrator. Okay. Add snapping. And we're gonna probably open certificates. And open the certificates, right? Okay, so let's add certificates. Okay, computer account, of course, next. Let's check what is set here. So we're gonna open computer account, local computer, and then okay, right, so let's do that. Finish. Okay, let's open it up. And what we need to check is trusted root certificates, and we're gonna look for our certificate. So trusted root certificates, and let's look for our certificate. So here is our certificate, Wsus DDR local. Okay, so in order to enable secure communication between Wsus and the Windows endpoints, so all of the workstations in your domain, you need to install the self-signed Wsus certificate on the endpoints in both Trusted Root and Trusted Root Publisher. So basically what we need to do now is we will need to create a GPO that is going to send our certificate, self-signed certificate, to all of our workstations in the domain, so they can actually authorize Okay, so how we can set it up? So now I'm gonna switch to my domain controller. Let's go to our group policy management. Group policy objects, we're gonna create a new object. It's gonna be called Wsus certificate. Okay, let's edit this. And basically we need to go to computer configuration, policies. So computer configuration, policies, Windows settings, security settings, computer policies, Windows settings. Okay, security settings and public key policies. Public key policies, okay. And then we need to right click on Trusted Root Certificate Authorities. Where it is, Trusted Root Certificate Authorities. And we need to import. And we're gonna click Next. And here we need to, of course, give our certificate. So we need to first pull this certificate from my server. So this is my Wsus server. And so I'm just gonna all tasks export. I'm gonna export this certificate with a private key. Yep. I'm gonna add a password. And file name, I'm just gonna call it Wsus. It's gonna be on desktop, maybe like this. So I have exported the certificate with the private key, and now I will need to copy this, of course, here. Cannot copy it like that. Okay, probably need to drag it. So let's drag it here. Okay, cannot drag it like this. So let's do it a little bit differently. Fortunately, sorry about that, but it's always a pain in the ass. Okay, let's do it like that. Where is the... So this is the workstation. Here it is. Okay, perfect. So we need to take our certificate. Of course, the password. And we're gonna place it in the Trusted Root Certificate Authorities. Of course, finish. Okay, import was successful. And what we're gonna do next, we need to also import the certificate to trusted publisher. Okay, so trusted publisher. Let's find trusted publisher. We're gonna import as well. And it was imported. Okay, so there we go, trusted publisher and trusted root certificates. So, sorry. So this GPO is set. Of course, what we need to do now, we need to link this GPO to our workstations. So I'm gonna link it here. Certificate, of course. I'm gonna link it to my servers. And I'm gonna link it to my domain controllers. Or domain controller in this case, because I have only one. Okay. So this is how it looks. The GPO is done. Let's check what's next. Okay, so we have done all of this. Okay, we have created the import on the welcome to the wizard. Next, file import, placeholder. Well, yeah, everything is done. Okay, so now we're gonna configuration, and that is required in GPO. So we're gonna recommend it for domain joined endpoints. So let's see. Okay, so now we're gonna configure some additional options in our Wsus Windows Update Services main GPO, so the one that I was showing at the beginning of the video. So let's go here. Like I said, we need to go back to here. So let's open this GPO. Policies, Windows templates, components, Windows Update. Okay, so we need to configure this more extensively. So first things first, configure automatic updates. Well, we have that done. Okay, specify Internet Microsoft Update service. So we need to change to HTTPS and to port 8531. Okay, so it's here. I'm gonna change this to HTTPS. Change the port. Apply the settings. Okay. Automatic update detection frequency. So automatic update detection frequency. Gonna enable this. We're gonna change this to 4. Apply and OK. Allow signed updates from an intranet Microsoft Update Service location. Okay, so I'm gonna do this and enable. Okay. This is required in order to install non-Microsoft third-party software updates and when SSL has been configured on the Wsus server. Everything else in Windows Update section should be set to not configured. Okay, so of course enable the execution policy by going to execution policy. So we will need to also enable script execution. For that I suggest creating another GPO. Better not mix it up with Wsus. So I'm just gonna create another one. And I'm gonna just call it script execution. Let's open it up, and like it says, computer configuration, policies, administrative templates, Windows components, and let's look for Windows PowerShell. Okay, and turn on script execution. I'm going to do enabled execution policy. Allow local scripts and remote assigned scripts. And okay. And we're gonna of course link the execution script or script execution to our computers, workstations, servers. Okay, so this is set. So next thing, what we have verified that the Windows Update console can connect by using SSL. Okay, so we're gonna do it. Of course, create GPO DisableDualScan. This is also important. So I have shown you how to do it to create this. Okay, so first of all, after all of this, it's just because there's a lot of GPOs here that have been done, we need to do GP update force, and I'm gonna do it everywhere. Okay, my workstation. Right, so let's sign out. I'm gonna sign in again. Same here. Of course, you can configure your GPOs to sign you out or log you out automatically when you do GP update force. I just didn't configure it yet. That's why I'm doing it manually. Okay, and this one is last. Okay, so by now all of the GPOs should be done, should have been applied. We can always check registry editor, as you can see in HK local machine software policies Microsoft Windows Update. This is my workstation. Hasn't been added to Wsus yet, but all of the GPOs have been correctly applied, because we have disabled DualScan here. It has been added. Wsus server settings, as you can see, we got HTTPS configured with the correct port as well, so the workstation sees it. And probably the execution script is also applied for PowerShell. So I'm gonna now open this. So this is the certificate. Let's open up Server Manager. So let's check what do we have. So basically now we have like verification, verified that Wsus console can connect by using SSL. So let's try doing this. Okay, so let's go to our Windows Updates server. Close this down. Let's go here. What do we have here? We got here connect to the server. Let's change this to this one, server name. So let's add here, of course, DDR, DHCP. And let's check what do we have here. Port number, use secure socket layer to connect to the server. Okay. And what do we have here? Cannot connect. The secure socket layer certificate for this server could not be validated. Please verify SSL is correctly configured or contact. Okay, so we'll need to check. So basically, I think it would be best to just restart all the servers and the workstation as well, because I think the certificates have been applied, but I forgot that all of the changes were done in the registry, and when you do changes in the registry, sometimes it needs a restart. Sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes it does, depending on what kind of keys are added. So we'll see in a moment. Okay. And we're waiting for the domain controller. This one takes the most time. Okay, let's open the server. Let's check if everything is fine. disable and enable it. Well, unfortunately, this is VirtualBox. You wouldn't have to do it in a real internet environment and domain environment. I need to do it because it doesn't recognize the domain. Let's see here. The same thing. And let's check the workstation as well. Sorry, it's like this. This one's fine, okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna open the HTTP as well, as usually after the restart. Fortunately, it goes monkey balls. Okay, I think it should be fine. Maybe I'm also gonna restart DNS. Where's the DNS? Like I said, you wouldn't have to do it in your environment because here it's very flimsy. Every time I restart everything, many things are not working because the connection is severed. Okay. And I think we can check now Windows Server updates. So let's open this. Let's go here, connect to the server name. Changing the port. Connecting. Okay, so the certificate cannot be validated. Okay, so let's check. Let's check the snapping and the certificates. Computer account. Trusted root certificates. Well, it sees like 2 of them. Okay. So that's why maybe it's going monkey balls. So I guess I'm just gonna throw both of them out. And now I'm just gonna save it. Maybe now without saving. Let's do. Let's force once again the GPO. Okay, let's do a restart. So basically the problem is with the, I think it's with too many certificates, because I think the GPO actually has been added correctly. Let's check. Okay, this is fine. Let's open the HCP. Let's open Windows Server, update services. Okay, let's try once again right now, connecting to the server. DDR. Okay, so let's check, because I'm pretty sure the certificates have been added everywhere. Maybe I missed a step. So what do we have here? Okay, connect to the server, server name, select the port number, use socket secure, yeah. With the configuration manager, site server is remote. Start the Wsus console from the site server and verify that the Wsus console can connect. The remote Wsus console cannot connect, it probably indicates that certificate trust, name resolution, or blocked port trust problem. Yeah, name resolution. That's the thing. So, okay, let's check with the IP address. And the address here is nope. So probably I made a mistake. CP Wsus, and I should actually do this. Yeah, because I'm a dumbass. I should have actually included my domain, not only the name of the server. Well, look how much time we have actually spent on just solving this one stupid thing. Oh well. As you can see, everything works, so the certificate works. You can connect securely. So I could actually remove this from the console and just leave HTTPS right now. Okay, so here we have like DHCP. So my my main I got two computers here. If I refresh, I got of course my domain controller and my Wsus. And I would also like to add immediately, without any delays, my workstation that is on Windows 10. Okay, so let's go back here. If you would like to add a workstation immediately, these are the guidelines that you can follow. So first of all, you of course need to do GP update force, and then you can try to do those two comments, and it says Windows version 10, for Windows 10 or 2016 or later. So those comments are for that kind of configuration. If Windows version is less than 10 and 2016, then you need to do those two comments. So most commonly used WUAUCLT, reset authorization and detect now, and then report now. So this switch report now indicates that you want to report your workstation or server immediately to your Windows Update services. This is detecting your workstation or server, and this is reporting it to Wsus. But I think this should be the fastest way. If the endpoint still is not reporting, run the following PowerShell command. So we will run this command because I found it the fastest way to add something to Windows Update services. I think I'm just gonna run it as an administrator because this is a normal user. So let's check once again. As you can see, I have only 2 servers here, nothing else. In unassigned computers, I don't have anything. So this workstation is not present anywhere. Let's go here. I'm gonna do and we're gonna refresh, and there you go. The computer, the workstation has been added immediately, which I find it the best way, I think, and the fastest way. So I'm gonna change membership to DDR, and now I have all of my 3 different workstations. So I have an update here. Let's check the update for my install. Let's approve to install everything. Let's go here, update security. I'm gonna install the update on the server. Okay, so as you can see, of course, last status report, not yet reported, not yet reported. So we can always do here as well. Report now. The same thing goes to my domain controller. It should report in a few minutes probably. Of course, you can always use this as well if it doesn't. Reset authorization, detect now, and after that report now. So this one reported. So my workstation reported immediately, and my domain controller is still thinking about something. So okay, update is done. Can go back here. I can check CMD once again. Maybe let's do both of those. We're gonna see if it changes anything. Now let's go to Okay, refresh. Well, I guess not yet. Maybe later on. Of course, it should be almost instant, like it was here. Oh well. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to talk about, of course, from my notes, is troubleshooting in Windows Update. Some error connections. What are they actually? So this kind of error connection can occur if you don't have enough memory set on your IIS. And this IIS has in this error, IIS has not enough RAM to work with everything on the server, so that's why this thing appears, this error appears. In order to set this straight, you should go to, and here is the full path. So IIS, application pool, Wsus pool, choose advanced options, recycling, private memory limit should be set to 0, which means it has no limit to RAM at the moment. Of course, you can set it up differently, you can change it to some kind of different volume, Wsus pool, advanced settings, recycling, and here you have private memory limit. I have it set to 0 because this was also recommended by Microsoft. Of course, you can change the memory limit if you want. But if you change it like this, and according to Microsoft's recommendations and best practices, you shouldn't have any errors appearing like this. Okay, problems with adding hosts to your Windows updates. So, in order to solve this problem, you should take the following steps. So, of course, GPO update force, then detect now, report now, as I done. After that, you should do the shutdown -R, so you need to restart the workstation. And of course, at the end, you can synchronize workstations with Wsus by doing this command, of course. And another thing that I have actually stumbled upon when I was doing the configuration and checking up different things, maybe I will try to show it like this. So IPv6 errors, IP address either appears as this or as an IPv6 address. So I had this problem before when I was configuring everything. So as you can see, my domain controller has had a good IP address, and my DHCP Windows Updates services server had the IPv6 instead of IPv4, and it was displayed like this in Wsus. After a couple of changes, it started to display this actually, which is also IPv6. That's why you need to create a IPv6 GPO that will actually turn off IPv6 on all of your servers and workstations if you don't want this error to happen and to occur. And this is how it needs to be done. So you need to go to regedit. So I will check here maybe for a moment GPOs, because I don't remember. I think I don't have it. Yeah, so let's make it. Let's create a GPO, new one, and we're gonna call this one just IPv6 disable IP version 6. We're gonna edit this and let's check where we need to go. So basically we need to go to System, CurrentControlSet, okay, so preferences, let's check, Windows settings, okay, so preferences, Windows settings, registry. Now we're gonna do a new registry key. I'm gonna create a registry key and we're gonna go to local machine. Now system. What's next? CurrentControlSet, services. Now we're gonna find TCP IP version 6 and parameters. Okay, we're gonna call it DisabledComponents. I'm gonna create a regd word. Okay, and it should be like this, and it should be hexadecimal. Apply, and okay. Right, so I'm gonna close down this GPO. I'm gonna just add it to all of my computers and to the domain controller. Okay. We're gonna just do the GPO update force once again. Let's close this down. Okay. So if it goes to IPv6 and problems with it, you can do it like this with a GPO. It should fix your problems, but if you still want to disable everything totally, you can try also disabling IPv6 and the network adapter using PowerShell command, so this command. Of course, you can make a script out of it and just add the script into your GPO next to the disabling script from the registry. And you can check if IPv6 is successfully disabled using PowerShell command. So let's check. Let's copy this and we'll reboot the machine. So let's check maybe. I'm gonna sign out. Because this admin user is a domain user and the administrator on the domain controller is a local. account. So let's check here. Okay, so nothing appears. Fine, so check if all ports are opened, and also check if services Wsus service, and because this is like problems with in general with your Windows Update services. You have to check those two services if they are running. So this is how you can check them: get service minus name Wsus service, and of course the IIS. So W3 as VC. And of course you can use netstat minus AN, find str, and then just look for the ports that are listening if you have your ports open. Okay, so where are the Wsus logs? So you can find your Wsus logs here, log files. Maybe I will copy this. Let's go here and let's check. And here is the change log. So these are all the changes that have been made. Again, IIS logs. Here you have all the IIS logs. You can also use get Windows Update log, which will generate a full log on your desktop. So let's go here, let's check. And here we have the full log. So we can actually check. Okay, so let's check how much it weighs. Well, 2 megs, a little bit. Okay, so I think I will conclude my video here because I don't have anything else, I think. Oh yeah, one more thing that is left. If you want to check if the service is running correctly, you can also type the address of your server. And if the page shows blank screen, all is working fine. So we can just copy this. Let's copy this. Let's open a web browser. And of course opening this on a different computer. And everything is fine. No errors here, so this indicates that your service is running fine. Okay, and what we have here, I think I also included what to do when updates are not being downloaded on local workstations. You can also do those 3 steps, so you can use netstop this service, the netstop crypt service, netstop the bits, you can go to see Windows software distribution. So basically you can go to the software distribution folder. Maybe I will go here. Let's check. Software distribution, and you should just delete everything from here, from software distribution folder, because it's gonna be recreated once you start all of those services and start Wsus, and you would check for updates, and the catalog will be nice, new and fresh. Okay, so that's it for the video regarding HTTPS, setting it up. If it goes to troubleshooting, a little bit about troubleshooting as well. I hope you found this video informative. Like, subscribe, of course. If you feel like being a Patreon, you can always go for it. I can see that my net logon is going nuts. I would also need to make a GPO that will start net logon when everything starts automatically. Okay, so thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.